telemarketers.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
So, this is how liberty dies. I wouldn't say thunderous applause. There is no mandate laid out, even if Joe Biden is the victor. You're going to have either a 50-50 split in the Senate, or you're going to have 51 to 49. There is no mandate. The Democrats lost a lot of seats in the House. 6, I believe, 7. Maybe. Pelosi will still be the speaker, unless the Democrats oust her. There's a lot of rumbling there as well. Now, the media and the left wants us to overlook the obvious fraud, as if we weren't watching the same footage as the rest of the country. I think that is ridiculous, honestly. There is obvious fraud to me. And I believe it's so blatant, Jensen can see it from the UK. So we're going to go ahead and bring the panel in. I got Jensen here. Mitch from Richdale brand has joined us this weekend as well. And Farty on the other side of the world has been railing against this fraud. But then again, Australia wants help with China. So I see what's going on there. You have motives, Farty. Just say it.
Well, you know, you lot did sign up to a bunch of fucking agreements with us, and now it's time for you cunts to make good, and you're running like fucking... Yeah. You're already making the excuses last week, so what do you think's going to happen with this communist cocksucker?
Hey, I didn't make any excuses last week. I stayed quiet and let the panel fight amongst itself. Once again, a lot of people think the country is headed for a fight. I do not believe the political divide is as deep as it was in the 1850s. We don't have something for the enemy to coalesce around like they did with expansionism and slavery. You do not have the coalescence of the Democrat Party like you did in the southern states. You just don't have it. They're as fractured as we are. Go ahead, guys.
Okay. First of all, would you like to do the disclaimer, Dodge? Because I'm about to open my mouth. This is your only warning.
All right. Dodge Productions does not necessarily endorse or share the views of the panelists. Don't sue us, YouTube. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start. AOC is making a list. Can anyone say Schindler's List? I think you can. Can we think about any people around all late 1930s, early 40s that created a list? Now, let's see, what's been happening to the Jews in New York? Now, isn't New York connected to AOC's lot? No. I can't imagine any lists that she might be making that could be bad. Do I think there is going to be civil war? Well, if there isn't, no offense, America, you deserve what you get. Someone else's go.
Well, this is not entirely over. I mean, like, I even heard something from the other side in a TED talk. Some fella fucking screaming that, Trump's going to refuse to get out, and this is all the options that he's got, and he can take it through various different levels of court, and apparently it'll eventually, if he takes it too far, it'll come down to one person's decision, and that's what they were fucking scared about. But to think that, we've known this was coming for 4 years, and to think that Trump's that fucking retarded that he hasn't fucking planned it yet, it's a bit farcical, I reckon. There has been also talk that he's probably had fucking massive sting operations, knowing this shit's fucking happening, and they've got all the evidence and shit, and well, we're going to find out when it goes to court. But it's not over yet.
Agreed. It's not over yet. In fact, it's not going to be over until the fucking body positivity model excoriates men for not wanting to fuck her.
Very eloquent.
Well, I'm a romantic at heart.
Oh, if you're romantic, you'll appreciate this then. What you do is you cover them in talcum powder, slap the wave, and look for the wet spot.
No. No, I will take no extra measures.
Go in dry. I like it.
No, I'm not going in. You can't make me.
It's all right. She's got her own gravity.
I'll sign up to be on AOC's list first. She's on my list and checking it twice. She wants to kill those on the political right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, AOC, make all the fucking lists you want, darling. I'll volunteer too. Come and fucking get me. Everything out here wants to kill me. What's a fucking communist going to fucking do, you bitch?
No, you know what? About those lists, I don't think lists written in crayon constitute a legal document.
Yeah. If she can't spell our names right, can they even find the right people?
That's a good question. That really is.
That's why she lost the job as a bartender.
I said a martini, not a Bloody Mary, you silly wench.
It's not a Bloody Mary, it's red cordial.
Oh, God.
They won't let me near the alcohol. I'm too young. I'm just a baby.
It's a period blood daiquiri.
Hang on. No, shouldn't this just be a long, doing impressions of her? Shouldn't that just be a long tirade of?
Well,
come on. She is a Democrat.
She has a really sad and rude awakening coming. The Republicans won a lot. They won enough in the state houses to redistrict. Or, as I like to call it, gerrymander. Okay? It's dirty. It's a dirty political game.
Oh, yes.
But you asked for it.
Fair point. The thing to remember is, I've got no dog in this fight. As a Brit, I literally don't care who you pick. This is your problem. Though I do wonder one tiny thing, and I could be wrong. I mean, I'm willing to be wrong. I will bow to the experts here. But dear old Camel Toe Harris, yeah, that's right. I said her name what I said. I don't care. Isn't she, I don't know, half Indian, half Caribbean? Doesn't that kind of make her not American?
She's also half African. She's 3/2 of a full human being.
Well, also, too, her great-granddaddy owned slaves and was the bloke who founded a town called Browntown. I think she's just more pissed off that that's now just a euphemism for an asshole. But Caramello Kamala, fucking Christ, she's already a confirmed socialist. So, yeah, you're fucking already gone communist.
Yeah. No, I'm being serious here. How the hell is she going to be vice president if she's not, American? Correct. I could be wrong. I'm willing to bow down to the experts here.
Well,
but Trump, not Trump. Fucking Obama was fucking Kenyan. I mean Hawaiian. I mean fucking. Oh fuck! I don't care anymore.
Well, that's just it. We started with a process, and over the subsequent hundreds of years, that process has been molested, diluted, abused, and quite frankly, delivered several cutting remarks until we have what we have now, an absolute joke. Here's you know what? This election is really a commentary on Common Core for our education system.
Sorry, I got a super chat here. I got to read off. Aaron Telford, thank you for the £2, sir. Mad Dodge for president. Yeah, 2024. The Mad Brian ticket got me at the top as president, and Brian will be my vice president. I promise no pants will be okay. All right.
But another thing you're completely missing, Jensen, is that this does really affect you, because if fucking Biden does go fucking softly on China, well, then that just leaves us to fucking deal with them, and then your taxes are going to go up to run that dirty great big fucking aircraft carrier you guys have just got.
Yeah, I'm
right.
actually willing to agree that.
And I'm not Fox News. I'll fact check my own panel. Kamala Harris, born in Oakland, California. Like it or not, California is a state.
Yeah, we want to see a birth certificate, thanks.
California's not a state. It's a fucking omni shambles.
I'm okay with having that. Okay, honestly, I'm okay with this for one reason. That means that Boris Johnson can be president of the US because he was born in Manhattan Hospital. Have a nice day. You're going to go from Trump to Boris Johnson. Excuse me while I laugh myself silly.
Another thing you don't realise too, Jensen, is that Kamala Harris is not going to be the vice president, because the day after inauguration, Biden's going to die peacefully in his sleep from natural causes. If you didn't see that, I was doing air quotes there.
Yeah.
That's the new suicide.
Okay, so let's calm down with the emotional reaction, because we all have one. Let's look at this with common sense. How many people think that 160,000 votes from one county that came in late all voted Biden? Every single one of them.
Are you
not a
talking
Joe
about
Jorgensen, not a Green Party, not Mickey Mouse written in, flipping you the bird. No, Biden.
Are you also considering the fact that down ballot, those same votes voted for Republicans in the Senate and the House?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And then this glitch that affected only one county, even though a bunch of the counties used it. That's intriguing.
Yeah, well, they've already busted a fucking postal worker with a bunch of mail in his car, including ballot papers and stuff like that. But this is what they'll do, right? They'll, like, the fucking Dems will turn around and say, oh, yeah, okay, so there was a bit of shenanigans going on, but that was individual players, you see. Oh, so you're admitting it, so let's do the recount. Oh, no, the numbers will stay the same, but we'll just admit it was individual players, you see. And, you know, them fucking probably are organising it and shit like that when they're in have already told them, like, oh, once we're in, we'll just commute your sentence if you get one.
All right, $5 super chat from Pinoy News. It's a U.S. election, and you got Jensen on. This is why your channel never grows. These foreigners are not good for your channel. I beg to differ. We do not live in a world that only has the United States in it. Whether you like it or not, Pinoy, the internet links the world. There are demographics on my channel that come from South Africa, that come from England. The second biggest viewership is from merry old England. So, yeah, thank you for the super chat, and I'll worry about my growth.
And the US election does affect the rest of the world, whether you like it or not, Pinoid. And that video you sent me the other day, like, that cunt fucking was basically full of shit from about 2 minutes, 30 seconds in when he started carrying on that our fucking temperatures are the same as fucking North America.
So what has the doctor told you about your growth, Mad Dodge?
It's cancerous. I named it Kamala.
Ew. You need to get that removed. I'm sure I've got a rusty razor blade around here somewhere. I'm sure that will get rid of it.
Holy shit.
I use a
Maybe
weed
the
whacker
dead
myself.
don't just vote. Redbeard, haven't seen you in forever, sir. Good to see you. Just turning in to laugh at leftists as they get yeah, politics is a joke, Redbeard. It's just, do they really think we wouldn't notice? Okay, I get it. Some of the video footage of people copying ballots were just that, copying ballots. And in that state, that's legal for a damaged ballot that won't read to be copied over to a new ballot. I say it shouldn't be. Another idea. I say the United States military counts our votes.
No,
Why?
it's bad optics.
Optics.
I understand. I understand why you want that, and in many ways, I think it would be a good idea. But the optics of it is so terribly bad that it screams of dictatorships, and that's just. I'm happy with them like securing polling locations, but
Yeah.
and making sure that the people who should be in the room are in the room. That kind of stuff, fine, but not with actual counting, because I don't want anything to look bad. I want a completely open and honest election process, and accurate, by the way.
There's another thing.
Well, I want to debate this a little bit because I believe you would have a more accurate and open counting process.
Except
Not
for one thing.
necessarily. Not necessarily, because your military does run a little bit different to a lot of other militaries. Like take the interceptor bulletproof vest, for example. That was a big political stoush over that, because that was actually invented and designed by the Marine Corps, and they were actually getting kickbacks off its actual construction and things like that. There are a lot of political things between different bases in research and development and all this kind of stuff. They're always searching for money and stuff like that, and there will be sort of partisan bias in certain aspects depending on like which base wants to get what through.
More so than vote counters wearing Biden masks? Come on.
No, the only way to do it, in my estimation, is to have human hands and human eyes sorting and counting ballots, and to have oversight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only way to do it. I mean, it sucks. It basically means that one ballot gets sorted and counted by 3 people, but I don't know what else to do there, to be honest.
Well, that was something that wasn't happening too. I mean, I did post a video of like there's 2 ballot counters, and this is just 2 out of fucking a bunch of them that have come up on different various news channels that have said they were booted out. They weren't even allowed in the door, and from previous times where they had been honest and said fucking no, there's some bullshit going on a previous occasion, was the reason why they were kicked out in the first place.
Yeah,
because they were too honest.
I mean, we just need a. Oh my god! The other thing is get rid of all the bullshit when it comes to counting votes. Get rid of all the fucking cell phones, all the the electronic voting, and all the Scantron bullshit, and just get rid of all that shit. We need it to be as plain and as simple as possible. And you know what? Stop using Common Core math to count.
Okay, Redbeard brings up when they announced Obama that all the black sailors on the ship he served on started screaming "Black President" and clapping. Okay, I get that, but when you join the military, you swear an oath to the Constitution, not to a political party. Right now, you have Democrat-ran cities choosing the people who take the votes from where you vote and move them, and also deciding who counts them, also announcing what the count was. Also, I mean, you don't see how this is a problem? This is Tammany Hall all over again.
Well, not to see. I was excited when Obama got elected. For one reason and one reason only. I was glad that I lived long enough to see a black president of the United States. And that was the limit of my excitement. I'm like, hey, something new, something different. This is going to suck because this guy is a leftist.
Well, and I'm not suggesting an idea like what kept Turkey in check for so long. Every time they went away from being secular and back into jihadism, the army would overthrow the government and reset. That's not my idea. My idea is simply have the military there counting the votes, have poll watchers there from both parties watching the counters, and have a live feed so the citizens could watch everything.
I almost want to say, let's put the three branches of government to work for something useful for once instead of legislating us into abject slavery. You remember when I was saying that you basically have 3 eyes and hands per vote, 3 people per vote? Well, there's your legislative, executive, and what's the other one? Judicial. Let's put judges and legislators and executive branch people to work for once in this country.
Well,
count it.
And the thing is, I can't agree with that, and that's because even the courts have been corrupted.
Yes, I do agree.
I see as not being corrupted down to its core is if you put the U.S. Marine Corps down there counting votes.
But the Marines aren't robots either, eh? Every soldier is an individual person, and they are able to think. And like, I think I mentioned this to you before, but like, they don't just have to blindly follow every single order. There is things called unlawful orders or fucking stupid orders that they are allowed to determine that, like, hang on a minute, this is either just going to get us all fucking killed, or no, I'm not going to fucking shoot that kid. I'm not doing it.
Plus, I will remind you there is a thing called refusing to soldier. Just saying.
We would have had more honest results if we let the people in the asylums count the votes.
We would, actually.
Yeah.
You know what? How about you know what? What about people with Asperger's?
I have actually mentioned how to make this nice and simple, but no, people seem to think I'm joking. I'm not. Okay? You get the leaders of the two sides, you put them in to something, I don't know, the Thunderdome, and you throw in one knife. 2 go in, 1 comes out. Dealt with.
Thunderdome, yeah.
Any problem so far?
Yes.
Go on then.
Good ideas do not necessarily equal great strength physically.
True.
And Biden will just pick a proxy.
No, there's no proxy. It is Trump goes in, Biden goes in, 1 knife is thrown in, and only 1 person gets to leave.
Hey,
to be fair, Kamala Harris might let him borrow her knee pads.
No, though, even Tyrion Lannister got to choose somebody to fight for him.
Now, Biden will fake his death just so as Kamala Harris will do it, and then you'll find out the reason why she looks like a drag queen.
Oh, I have to address this in the chat. Falcon's asking, what's this about Asperger's / autism? Well, honestly, if you find an autistic person or someone with Asperger's who has that mentality about fairness, they're not going to cheat. Is my point. They're gonna be more interested, regardless of politics, in an accurate count.
It's the whole thing of autistic people and tasks and stuff like that. Very, very task motivated, especially if they're really interested in it. They'll just fucking learn everything and be like a human computer about it.
In some cases, yes. But those are the people I would trust most, to be honest, because they have no stake in cheating. Because cheating just, and like I said, this is a hashtag not all scenario. Because some people have anything the color blue, for example. Oh, if it's blue, we got to do that one. No, they'd count all the blue ink and destroy all the black ink, for example.
Thank you, Aaron. Another £2 super chat. The U.S. to destroy itself and be taken over by Canada and Mexico.
Kansas.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. If you want one thing to unify the American people quick as shit, bring in a foreign invader.
I'm just going to say that one thing about that. Wouldn't it be nice to have a governor general? Because impeachment obviously doesn't fucking work now, does it?
It shouldn't always work. Now let's you guys want to play a little prediction game? Because I have a theory and I want to know what everyone thinks about it.
Okay.
It's a well-known thing that one thing that will unite a society is when it's attacked from the outside.
I'm okay with that.
And I mean, look at when in 2001 when the Twin Towers came down. Man, everyone was nice to each other for about 2 whole weeks in this country.
Yeah.
I have a theory that with a Biden presidency, they'll let something like that happen again, just to say, "Oh, look, we're unified as a nation under Biden / Harris, whatever, whoever's pulling the lever at that point."
I got a counter to that.
Okay,
You guys have already been under attack for at least a year now with BLM and fucking Antifa being fucking communist, fucking anarchists and all this kind of shit in China's fucking back pocket, right? And you haven't done nothing about it yet. But since now the socialists are in, the night of the long knives is coming, and I'm fucking hoping for the fact that these cunts have fucking signed all their bloody forms signing up to these organisations, and now they're going to get fucking shafted like the brown shirts they are.
yes, but I did say external. BLM and Antifa would be classified as an internal threat.
Cough,
Yeah, I know.
cough. Canada's planning on taking Trump out of office. Cough, cough.
Oh yeah, Justin Trudeau. If President Trump doesn't leave office, I'm gonna initiate military. Yeah, okay, Justin.
Yeah,
Trust
all that
me,
needs to
okay.
happen.
What's he
All
gonna
it is
do?
that-
Put on a fucking Mountie uniform and treat that like a fucking costume party too? Fuck you, Justin Trudeau.
No, all someone has to do is scream Allah Akbar as soon as he gets within 5 feet of the White House, and the cunt will run back to Canada with his dick between his legs.
Okay. It's a Mad Dog Productions news alert. Postal Service delivers 40,000 more ballots after a court-ordered sweep. Where were those ballots? Were those ballots on the floor in the mail truck? No. Okay, so
This is cream of bullshit soup.
Oh, and I suppose they're going to have to go back to counting now, and they'll all just happen to be all Biden, eh?
Well, let's be honest. We know that Biden's actually spelled Trump. It's just, people must obviously get confused. That's why he's getting so many votes, obviously.
okay,
That's right. It's spelled Trump, but it's pronounced Biden. Whatever.
There you go.
I do have a question. Gemma in my server brought this up. She sees a lot of disenfranchised young Gen Xers and a lot of anger. She does not believe that the right is going to take this time. She believes the line has been crossed.
Well,
What say you?
I say that we have to make a distinction between the right and the Republican Party because they are not synonymous. The Republicans spend too much time rolling over and dying for the Democrats. And I'm tired of it, to be honest. So much so that last night on our stream, Arthur and I discussed slapping together a new political party. Basically, even though we're anti-political party in general, we're thinking, okay, let's play their game, but do it by our rules. So we just sort of theory crafted a political party to take in disenfranchised Americans.
Yeah, I listened to a part of that.
And yeah, it's kind of a joke, but it's theory crafting.
I like the wolf idea. They were looking for a party mascot because every party has one. I didn't say it because it's what I would do if I create a party. So I wanted to keep it in my back pocket. But hopefully it's not too synonymous with Russia. But I would go with the grizzly bear. We have been in hibernation for far too long. We're awake and we're fucking hungry. And a $10 super chat from Redbeard. Best part about Trump losing is his coming is coming up unfucking and declassification of documents. The damn establishment, since he has nothing to lose. Yeah, and I would add pardon
Snowden and Assange.
well, he'll probably won't pardon Assange, and he probably won't pardon Snowden. But we might be able to get him to pardon the Pirate Bay guy. We might be able to get him to pardon him. Might be able to get him to pardon nonviolent drug offenders preemptively before the Democrats do, and build up for 2024. I do not believe Trump should run again if he loses.
No,
And I still say it because it's not over till the fat lady sings. And the fat lady just came out of court with a gag order. So
No, your mascot should actually be a puckered arsehole because your country's pretty fucked.
Well, my initial thought was the murder hornet. Because that's just damn funny. And how did I phrase it? I have it written down. Let's see. Though the elephant, because of the Democrat and Republican mascots, though the elephant and the ass have no stinger in their tails, one would rather be sat upon by the bee. So I thought, I figure murder hornet would be great with that kind of a mentality behind it.
I've got to ask, why haven't any of you taken the bald eagle? I mean, come on, really, America?
I believe it's because the bald eagle is meant to be the mascot for the nation as a whole. It's meant to be more of a unifying symbol.
Actually, yeah, I'm going to ask Dodge a question and again, I don't know. This is actually a genuine question, even though people are going to think I'm taking piss. What is the animal of the libertarians? Is it true that it's a
porcupine?
Snake? Sorry, what?
It's a porcupine.
It's a porcupine. It has to do with the non-aggression principle.
There's a bunch of pricks.
That's actually what I'm thinking. Oh god.
Well, no, it's basically don't mess with us, but if you do, we'll fuck you up. Have you ever seen a dog after it attacks a porcupine? I've had to pull the quills out of my dog's mouth. Oh damn.
No, that's fair. Sorry, I just wanted to know. Carry on, guys.
But I like the bear because the being asleep, and they keep bringing up
Sleeping giant.
Waking the sleeping giant, and
but wouldn't everyone just think you're Californian then?
Well, see, that was my problem with the bear. Actually, was because I was afraid it would represent California, the biggest communist regime in human history.
Yeah, but California is a brown bear. The grizzly.
I don't care. A bear's a bear.
Is different.
Yeah, you got to remember your education system doesn't fucking let people define what type of bear it is. You can show them a fucking koala and they probably think it was one of theirs.
Probably.
Okay, then we'll go with the drop bear.
No, if you're going to do it, go for the Wolverine. That's a nice.
That was one I thought of too. Was the Wolverine?
Oh, you should.
Because
so funny.
I was thinking the Wolverine because fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go with the Wolverine soon when fucking China invades. Wolverines!
Yeah. But we actually named our theory crafted political party the Liberty and Restoration Party so that we could take on the concept of LARPing.
No,
What about the honey badger? Because honey badger doesn't give a fuck.
Well, yeah. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with the honey badger.
Yeah, and Farty, Redbeard beat you by the buzzer on that one. It popped
I said it
up
first.
on my end.
You popped it up you popped it up too late. I said it first. Well, great minds think alike. One of the two.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and Redbeard, I'd love to have you on the show if you're ever feeling up to going back on air. Hey, say what you want about Biden and Harris. If they end up winning this, that's the best thing for my channel.
Oh, ours
I
too.
got 4 years of material.
Yeah. I'm off anyway, guys. So you lot have a nice time. Good luck.
Rock on, Jensen.
Speak to you later, people. Bye bye.
Right, see ya.
But they are saying Tucker Carlson in 2024. That's wishful thinking, right?
No, not going to happen. Don't want that to happen.
What, you're not a Tucker fan?
Yeah, I am actually. I just don't want I don't want to use a Phillips screwdriver where a saw is required. Tucker Carlson does a fantastic job with what he does. He's the perfect fit in the place he's in. And I don't think that we would benefit from losing that tool in our toolbox or having it misused.
Yeah, I think he's better as the last sane voice in Fox News. Or as
or the Trump News Network.
Well, Fox really screwed themselves this time.
Oh, yes.
Did you see their coverage? I mean, I watched my coverage over on Crowder because Crowder's funny.
No, I didn't watch any coverage. I went and looked at several electoral maps, and I worked based from that instead because I hate coverage.
Oh, I'm a political junkie. I was sitting there watching Crowder. I was fact-checking Crowder, watching the 270 map, watching C-SPAN. Yeah, I'm way too into politics.
Oh, I can be too, but I do force myself to step away from time to time.
What I think's fucking hilarious though is that, like, even out here, right, fucking the female news reporters are all like, Trump's bad, he's gonna grab us all by our vaginas and shit. But Biden, the guy who's actually on camera molesting children and shit like that, makes them smile so fucking much that they're just about to fucking squirt all over the floor about it. I'm like, okay, so next time these bitches fucking say that they got molested by a football player, I'm just going to call bullshit on that.
Oh, yeah, they know on which side their muffin is buttered. I mean, there's a big concerted, concentrated effort to undermine the concept of liberty in the world, not just in America, but in the world. And
no kidding.
If they beat us, if they kill the Tree of Liberty here, it will not spread. The world's automatic default is tyranny.
Yes.
It has been forever. Until the American experiment. If this experiment fails, that's it, people. Buy yourself an island if you can. But other than that, that's it.
Yep.
Well, another way that this does affect you guys too is that they're bunging the same bullshit on here. We've got the Liberal Prime Minister out here at the moment, and they're painting him up as such a massive clusterfuck, and well, he's not doing much to fucking, counter their fucking claims, like fucking off to bloody Hawaii while the country's burning. But anyway, it is that bad that, yes, I can probably see that we are going to vote Labor next time, and Labor is the Workers' Party, which is just another nice way of saying communist. And if we go fucking Labor, then fucking it's only India that's left to keep fucking China in check.
Yeah. And that's only because they share a border.
Well, and we'll end up on China because, you keep bringing it up. But I still want to look at this election through the lens of common sense and not emotion. Because we're already being accused of doing what the left did last time. I'm sorry, I haven't seen any videos of Trump supporters screaming to God like their baby died, like the
Screaming.
thing ate their baby.
I don't see anyone on the right screaming rage, hate, and foul language into the sky.
However, I did just see a fucking CNN bloody thing where like there's some black dude, the main presenter, fucking through to him and's like, "Oh, what do you think?" And the cunt's fucking still bloody crying. Like, shit a fucking brick. Oh, I can now go back to... And I think his brain was trying to fucking quit on him halfway through what he was saying, because I don't think his brain even believed it, because he couldn't really get it out. But I'm so proud to be a father now, and I can go home to my son. Oh my God, you're a fucking massive pussy.
It's like,
shit.
Christ, grow a dick.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the Babylon Bee is a satire news site. And man, they nailed it when they released an article titled Trump Voters Protest by Getting in Their Cars and Driving to Work.
Wow. You guys, thank you very much for the super chats today. It's awesome. Redbeard throws in another $5. AOC is calling for a registry of people that donated to Trump. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
we covered that early on, Redbeard. My position is that lists made in crayon are not legal documents.
Yeah, don't communists make lists?
Well, yep. She's an unabashed communist. The thing is also, what? Add me to another list?
Yeah, really.
Fine. Go ahead. When you have the re-education camps, you were already going to round me up. You guys have an extra reason now.
Yeah, she says that like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google, like these people don't have lists already. Come on, who are you kidding?
But here's something for you to think about, AOC. If you want to come out here and get me for fucking like being on your list and shit, better dead than red. Oh, actually, better yet, dead reds.
Yeah. Well, no, and Redbeard, like I said in the chat, I'm glad to talk more about it because actually, I mean, technically that's a threat. What's she going to say? Trump supporters are unstable, therefore have no right to own a gun? Because most Trump supporters are also gun owners. No.
Which is why Trump supporters won't be rounded up.
Yeah, this is no idle, oh, we should just put them on a list and watch them. No. She wants to round us up or take our guns, or both.
Yeah, she's been listening to too many fucking 9/11 truthers when they claim about the FEMA camps and all this kind of stuff. FEMA, that's our prison system, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, her and Brianna Wu should just go to the moon and start throwing rocks.
Yeah, if they start making us wear something to identify ourselves, the Jews in this country are going to burn shit down.
Yeah, I think you'll be invaded by Israel.
They'll think they've learned from history and do the opposite. They'll all get together and wear funny hats and armbands so that they can identify each other. And if you're not wearing the funny hat and armband, you're the enemy.
Yeah, so she wants to make fucking lists and stuff from like electronic databases and things like that. Oh, hang on, who else is doing that currently at the moment? Oh, CCP.
Yep. Well, like I said, man, it's go ahead and make your list, lady.
Don't they already have an organization, Right Wing Watch? Don't they already do that for?
Oh yeah. Well, see that, and it's not just killing all the people what aren't them. It's also setting up the re-education camps. They've talked about that quite openly.
Oh, like in
reducing our vote to 1/2 of a real vote per person. You know, and they keep talking about the 3/5 compromise in the Constitution, which they clearly do not understand. That's not about voting. That's about representation. It's about determining the number of representatives, not about how much someone vote counts.
Wait a minute. They already wanted to pass a measure in California to revoke the Civil Rights Act. Are you saying they now want to reintroduce the 3/5 clause?
No, I'm saying that when they talk about the 3/5 clause, they misrepresent it to be that only white people counted as a full vote. That's not what that was about. It was about determining the number of representatives per state in either the House or the Senate.
Oh, those
Or the
silly
House,
little
rather.
bastards thought the slaves got to vote at all? Oh, you sweet summer child.
Yeah, it's morons. Not just AOC. It's the left has been doing that lie forever.
Oh my god. Oh, as a history major, these people drive me insane.
Yes.
Are we seriously saying he's another bloody female who wants equality for thee and not, or equality for me and not for thee?
Yep. Basically.
Fucking.
Here's the thing also, there was a conference call amongst the Democratic Party in the House of Representatives, and they were yelling at each other. They lost this election.
The Democrat,
like I said in my opener, it was a very short monologue because I didn't write anything out, which I'm going to try and at least write an opening monologue from now on for the Redeye. But here's the thing. They are at each other's throats because they lost. And it's not that they lost the presidency. They believe they won. They believe Biden will be the next president. But we neutered him on his way in. Cut his balls off. He won't be able to do anything. Remember packing the court?
that explains all the sniffing.
They're not going to be able to pack the court. They're not going to be able to gerrymander. Matter of fact, now the Republicans can. They're not going to be able to force feed us the Paris Accords. That'll get rejected in the Senate. They're not going to be able to do anything. He will be a lame duck president for 4 years.
If he makes it that long. But even if he doesn't make it that long, Kamala Harris will be a lame duck as well.
I think that most of the infighting that you saw and the arguing at the moment is more who fucked up? Who was the cunt who had the fucking loose cannon? Who's the cunt we need to go in silence?
Oh no, they know. They know who fucked up. That's the funny part. They want the person that is Pelosi's lieutenant to run against Pelosi. They were elbowing him to do so. And he took the party line. Oh no, I'm happy with the job I have. But you know, these people are in politics because they want power. You know. Now
No, I mean
about it.
No, I mean one of their brown shirts that fucking fucked up and, you know, let the cat out of the bag, and we know all about the fucking voter fraud and all this kind of shit. It's like, who's the cunt who fucked up? So a lot of you did.
Yep. Well, there's another thing to remember about all that arguing is the Democrat Party is fractured. About 40% of the party views itself as progressive. Well, regressive, I guess, is correct as well. But they view themselves as progressive and not merely left. So they're fractured at that level. And now we have, and you can measure it with the Republicans by who's coming out and saying, no, this election bullshit needs to be sorted. And those who are just sitting back going, well, we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
So the Republican side is fractured as well.
Yeah, and this adds to that kind of, or at least shifts it a little bit. Comment from the chat, Nacho Damas the Great. That's an awesome name. You also got to think of the Republicans. They are just Democrats in red. Yes,
most of them, yeah.
They are wolves in sheep's clothing. There is a reason I was registered libertarian, and I wrote today to Libertarian Party of Oregon. I wrote a scathing letter to them. What, do you want to be the party of losers forever? You're leaning more left when you should lean right. You don't know what you're doing. You're freaking open borders from Joe Jorgensen, and you wonder why you can't match Gary Johnson's numbers? You are ridiculous. I went off on the party today.
That's what you should. I mean, I'm not a member of that party. I won't be a member of any party unless it's my own, to be clear. But and shit, man, the Libertarian Party, and I'm talking the big L, the kind that gets plastered before a representative's name, that kind of a big L letter. I'm tired of the party thing in general, as I pointed out earlier. The Libertarians keep making the same mistakes. They're all over the map, depending on who they have running for the office of president. Libertarians need to just buckle down and do what I think the Republicans should do. Focus on the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, what I told them is, look, you need to nail down an actual platform. You can't have open borders. Throw that out. You can't treat abortion as a privacy issue. I believe it is a non-aggression principle issue. I believe
I'm on board with that.
As soon as the baby is viable, because that's the only way the party will ever look at it my way. They're not going to go with at conception or heartbeat, like I personally believe. They will go with viability of the fetus. So once the fetus is viable, then that is a human being. Therefore, it is aggression to kill it.
Well, I take that sort of a step further, I guess, because my issue with abortion is not based on the non-aggression principle as much as it is due process. Because you're issuing a death sentence without a trial, is my thing. And if due process is to be satisfied, then an abortion must be adjudicated.
Well, firstly, g'day, Dr. Bollocks. But secondly, I think the problem's more with you, Dodge. You keep picking the wrong thing. You're a Dodgers fan after all. Just kidding.
Had to be done. But my issue being based on due process is simply because if we put someone to death where no crime has been committed or even adjudicated, then what the hell are we? I mean, it's not like the baby appeared in the womb magically as if overnight because of a nightmare. No. Two people got together and fucked a thing into existence. That thing is a human being. Now, you can argue left and right, up, down, and sideways about at which point that clump of cells can actually legitimately be described as a human being. You can argue that till you're blue in the face. That doesn't matter because none of us has that answer when you boil it down to actual weights and measures. No one knows when that spark of life actually begins. Well, we can all theorize based on faith, based on what we know of science, but when we don't know when that electrochemical reaction really happens to become a sentient consciousness. We don't know that. So my position is err on the side of liberty. If we don't know, we have to err on the side of liberty. Due process, and if the thing is a threat to the mother's life, well, then that's what the court system's for. But if it's a threat, I mean, if it's an immediate threat, that's a different thing. You have to measure these cases on their individual merits. I'm done.
Tema, I hate to disagree. We legislate morality all the time. Drug laws, crime laws, murder, right to life or right to death laws. Oregon legislated morality when they told doctors that assisted suicide is okay. We legislate morality on a regular basis, Tema. I disagree, but I agree with your point. Maybe we shouldn't legislate morality. But once that fetus is viable, tell me why, if I murder a pregnant woman, I get 2 counts of murder. If she has an abortion, she gets 0.
Yep.
Tell me why for 18 years of that baby's life, I'm forced to pay, but she can kill it. I don't know. Something seems off here.
Well, it's the terminology that we use that sways the argument, because when a woman has an abortion, she's terminating the pregnancy. When a man doesn't pay child support, he's refusing to pay for the child that he helped bring into the world. Now, if that's if he terminates his parental rights. And even if he does terminate his parental rights, he doesn't get to walk away from the financial responsibility. Now, if we took that and measured them both the same way with the same language, an abortion isn't terminating the fetus. It's the mother terminating her parental rights. If we measured them the same way, we would have to start behaving in a consistent manner with how the mother and father are treated in that scenario.
And Tema, you're in my server. The link's in there. You know I have no problem having this conversation with you. And I believe you're actually more on my side than not. So, but yeah, we legislate morality. People break the rules. True. People broke. Wasn't Roe v. Wade about a doctor doing a illegal abortion to begin with, right?
I'll tell you this. Oregon just legislated morality by decriminalizing all drugs.
Yeah, we did discuss this earlier, and
that
brought up
is
points about how taxes will go up and how fucking the ambulance people are going to be fucking been put in better peril and shit like that, because when you generally give a fucking overdosing heroin addict a shot of Narcan, they wake up fucking swinging.
Well, yeah, you know what's going to happen is they've defunded the police, but hey, now we just have to arm all the paramedics.
Or send a fucking fire truck out with 7 burly firefighters to hold the cunt down.
Yep.
But yeah, well, like, since women get the fucking choice in the matter, if they want to have the kid, well, okay, and since fucking once the bastard squirted out and she kills it, then that's infanticide. I reckon all fucking things are and the bloke doesn't get the choice in the matter once the little cunt's fucking born, and he has to fucking pay for it whether he liked it or not, whether he wanted it to happen or not, wanted to terminate it early. If she gets the fucking choice on whether she has it or not, then if it's infanticide once the bastard's squeezed out, then fucking, I reckon abortions are, not a problem right up until the bastard pokes its head out of a cunt.
You know, an easier way, Redbeard, would be, I don't know, condoms. Just a thought.
Well, yeah, we've got pretty easy access to birth control methods.
Yeah, but how's that going to work for you, being a Catholic, Dodge? Every sperm sacred and all that shit.
I'm married and I take care of my kids. Worked out fine.
No, but aren't fucking condoms illegal in the Catholic Church? Birth control.
Get married and take care of your kids. You'll be fine.
Did you read this bit from Mr. Goatman here? I mean, it's kind of a sad story, but that's the thing, that's the other really sticking point with the issue of abortion is when there's a criminal activity that initiates the pregnancy, it becomes a much more ethically difficult situation to adjudicate and to sort out,
Well, that's another thing there too. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Is like, there's what happens if the Sheila gets pregnant from a rape or a gang rape or something like that, and the kid's now just a reminder for the rest of its life of what happened to get it there in the first place.
You know what I say? I say if it's a gang rape and the gang rapists are caught, they all pay the full child support if she keeps it.
Well, that's
a kind of restitution. I think that would be funny. I don't know if it's necessarily legit, but whatever.
Well, yeah, it would be bloody funny. However, like, it'd be the same argument that I had with, like, I posted this on Discord when Dodge was bringing up the bringing in the the legalize all drugs kind of thing. It's $100 fine. Okay, junkies don't pay the $500 ambulance bill for the shot of fucking Narcan. What's a fucking fine going to do? And these cunts just committed a criminal act. And as the gun owners have been trying to maintain, is that like criminals don't follow fucking laws. So
Right.
have fun getting the money out of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, and here's the thing. What makes me mad, because everybody knows my stance is to legalize drugs. It is your own personal responsibility what you put in your body. But decriminalizing it keeps the drugs dirty, keeps the cartel getting paid, and there's no regulation or oversight. Add that to just a traffic ticket. And the fact that this is the worst part about it. It's $100 fine. Or you could go in for a valuation, a health eval. There is no responsibility on the addict to go to rehab. Why? It might be traumatic if they're not ready. They're doing heroin. It is a highly addictive drug. Their brain tells them they are going to die without it. They will never be ready for rehab, you moron.
Well, that was another thing that I was going to mention in the last show, that when we were actually talking about this, is that fucking fuck my fucking stupid brain. It just went fucking dead. Hang on. Yeah, no, keep talking. Never mind.
It was attacked by the Australian brain spider.
No, it's an explosion I experienced about 20 years ago.
I like my story's got better movie potential. But
that's right. Sorry, the taxes. Fucking like your taxes are going to go up because of this, because of like a $100 fine. You know, you fucking you're going to be chasing these cunts who aren't paying the fine. So now you're spending thousands of dollars trying to get a fucking fine. So that your taxes are going to go up, and that's going to piss everybody off. But I reckon also too, my big fucking problem with fucking teachers is that, like, when I went through school, it was always drugs are bad, drugs are bad, drugs are bad. And the last year I was in high school, they started changing it to, it's okay to experiment. And that was it. No fucking caveat and all this. And it's similar to the whole fucking telling these dumb bimbos that, women can do anything, but don't fucking tell them that, you got to work for it. And you can't be the CEO when you walk through the door. You got to be like the dude who's actually the CEO and do it for 40 years. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay to experiment with drugs, but don't do the fucking hard shit that gets you fucking, hooked straight away. Don't try ice and all this kind of shit. So now you got cunts who are going off to fucking rave parties in Australia and stuff like that and thinking, it's okay to experiment. How many fucking ecstasy pills can I have before I go into a coma? Yay!
And get fucked into oblivion.
Real quick, I said it in the chat, but I want to say it out loud. Redbeard was around since the very beginning of my channel. I used to stream with him and 40. And gosh darn it, I'm forgetting the other guy's name because I haven't seen him in so long. But Redbeard had a baby boy. Congratulations, Redbeard. I'm going to drink a beer to that. I'm really happy for you, man. That's awesome. Let's hope the world doesn't go to hell, though. I have kids, too. Fingers are crossed. Yeah, copy with comment. Thank you, Redbeard. Can't believe I forgot it. I forgot. Go ahead, guys.
I forget where we were.
I'm going to step away and check on my kids real quick. They're being quiet.
Right on. I think we were very much on the topic of abortion and parental rights, weren't we?
Dumb fucks doing drugs and shit unchecked.
Yes,
and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, that's the thing, Oregon legalizing all drugs, that is legislating morality.
Well, there's another point. Here's another point too, right? Like, your heroin addicts don't give a fuck in the first place, like as if they're not going to drive inebriated.
Yep. And
just giving them carte blanche.
Yes, it really is. And even under my I try to be intellectually and philosophically consistent, and I'm a huge fan of the American Bill of Rights. And within the Bill of Rights, I see no reason that all drugs should not be legal. In fact, the Constitution doesn't grant the government authority in any way that I can see to prevent people from ingesting whatever they wish to ingest. However, there are some realities that we have to look at and recognize. And this is where it gets sticky, because you have to figure out what is the threshold to, I think, make them all legal. Okay, but treat it the same way we do with alcohol. Drink all you want, but stay the fuck home when you do it. Go out, get your fucking snacks, get your water bottle, and whatever you need. Go home, get high, and have all that shit there for when you need it. Maybe have someone nearby hold your car keys for a while. You go out and drive with it, you're fucked. You go out and commit a mass murder on your neighbor and their family, you're fucked. And that's all I can think of. But you're right. People who are that far gone, they're not going to pay attention to rules like that.
Well, that's also where I blame the teachers, because they're not fucking doing their job anymore. I mean, hell, I've got a high school fucking half a kilometre up the fucking road from me, and we still have 40-kilometre-an-hour zones because for some fucking reason, with newer cars with better brakes and all this kind of shit, kids can't just simply learn to look both ways before they cross the road, which is something that they used to do back in my day when cars had shit brakes.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, that's what the public school systems are for. They're combine the public school systems and their use of pop psychiatry and pet theories to educate children. Combine that with the way parenting has been criminalized, and all you do is you raise generations of people who lack the ability to know how to think and how to cope.
Oh shit! Bloody smartphones are the same thing there too. No cunt fucking grabs the extremely simple premise that when you hit the gutter, look up. And I used to do this all the time. Like back when I was driving trucks, we had this fucking little truck with a sequential automatic gearbox, and like you chuck it in the neutral and fucking turn the exhaust brake off, and you make zero sound. The problem was, I had this gigantic fucking howitzer of an air horn mounted on the fucking roof, and I used to, I'm an offsider, I'd either say, this cunt with the black backpack, fucking watch this cunt. And sure as shit, head glued to the fucking phone, walk straight out in the intersection, I creep right up behind him, and make them shit themselves because, well, they're too stupid. But, like the teachers, if they're going to say it's all right to experiment, they should also say that huffing dioxin will make you high too.
Yes. And the thing is, it's not just a high that they're after. The nature of addiction is what I'm getting at now. Because you go so far down that road that you're addicted, it's not just the high you're after. It's you're injecting shit just to be normal.
Well, if you have a look at like the way lots of drugs do work in your system, that first one puts you up at such a level, and it does take a long time to fucking wear off. Like with weed, It actually takes about 3 or 4 days, depending on your chemical makeup and all that kind of stuff, to actually fully get out of your system. Now, if you're a chronic weed smoker like my brother, who literally is a wake up cones, pre-wake up cones, wake up cones, post-wake up cones, pre-getting out of bed cones, getting out of bed cones. And fucking, he even made the statement a couple of years ago. It's like, oh, fucking shits me with all these Hollywood movies where like someone just takes a puff of a joint and they're fucking tripping balls and flying through the sky and fucking seeing anime characters and shit. Like, that fucking shit's never happened to me. It's like, yeah, you've never spent 3 days fucking sober now, have you, Peter? Like, and like, that's the actual problem. Like, a lot of people, fundamentally, the addiction part of it is they're chasing that initial high. And when you're talking about shit like cocaine and heroin and ice and stuff like that, it's in you. The levels are so high in your system. This is how you overdose. You're trying to get that next high, like this. Then the Guns N' Roses song, Mr. Brownstone. I used to do a little, and a little wouldn't do it, so a little got more and more. That's exactly how it fucking happens. And that was coming from fucking cunts who were junkies at the time when they wrote the damn song. Yeah,
exactly. It's absolutely insane. See, I kind of wonder if the middle ground would be, legalize it, but advocate against it like all hell.
Yeah, like put the caveat in there. Don't do the hard shit because that'll fuck you up. They should not make fucking taxpayers pay the fucking Narcane for the ambulance crews. Because can you imagine this too? Right, there's like a lot of fucking volunteer fire brigades and stuff over in America and shit that like are worse off than the volunteer services out here. We got federal funding and stuff like that. Like we get all our equipment for free. These guys are what we were fucking 30 years ago when we were having to buy our own trucks and our own hoses and uniforms and shit like that, going for donations and stuff. And a lot of these guys are screaming because of that. And fucking, there was even one story I saw, this was in like 2014, where fucking they were having a cry about someone broke into their fire station and fucking basically gutted their paramedic unit for drugs. So when that happens, well, fucking who's going to pay for the next lot of fucking medication and shit, especially the stuff that's not used on junkies, that's used on other calls and stuff like that. And so they're not going to be able to treat the casualty on site. So it will be a scoop and go, and you will lose casualties doing that. Fucking, and then when you have used your $500 shot of fucking Narcane, or depending on where you are, it can be up to $5,000, and the junkie's not paying his fucking medical bills or his fucking ambulance bills, and now your locals are now having to foot that, and when you're running on donations, how the fuck is that going to work?
Exactly.
Okay. Tema says marijuana doesn't cause hallucinations in a neurotypical brain. I'm not sure how your brother is wrong. And yeah, dude, I smoke some good weed, and it's legal here, so I don't care about talking about it. And I have never once hallucinated on marijuana. I've hallucinated on LSD.
I may have an answer, but
well, in answer to Tema's question, my brother is a functioning weed smoker, right? He is stoned all the time to the point that he actually can function quite normally on, like, while he's fucking had a whole fucking 50 of fucking weed. But he was making the analogy from things like fucking bloody Tenacious D's Pick a Fucking Destiny, where they're tripping balls and shit like that. You know, there are some movies that do depict that.
Yes, and from what I know, and I bear in mind, I'm not a weedologist, I'm not a 420ologist or whatever the fuck they're called, because I don't really care to be. But Joe Rogan is, and I learned from a thing I saw with him, not his podcast. This is before that, where he had said something about the edibles when it comes to marijuana. Said that when you eat it, it's a different example, or a different experience, because it's higher in what he called 11 hydroxy metabolites, and when you eat it, he's according to Joe Rogan, sometimes you just have to sit back, close your eyes, and watch the cartoons fuck.
It's not really okay. So what he means by that, I'll say it in a better way than Joe Rogan.
Okay.
One, your body metabolizes it different. There's a different reaction in your body from when you eat it, from when you smoke it. And the edibles are like, you sit on the couch after smoking a bowl. You're not going to like sink into the couch with a really good edible brownie. I've even just sunk into the couch and was like, oh, I need to go to sleep. And that doesn't happen when I smoke a bowl.
Yeah, that's what my brother hasn't experienced in like fucking 30-something years.
Well, what I'm wondering is, with all the different strains of marijuana these days, and all the different people who have, and mind you, these people have become experts in many ways in how to grow and how to produce different strains to have different effects, somewhat, or to have different potencies and consistencies. Is it possible that there is a strain out there that you can smoke, but it will have the effect of an edible? See, I don't know enough about this to answer that question, but I do know enough about it to ask the question. Let's say that.
Well, the BBC did do a documentary a few years ago where someone went to Amsterdam on the BBC's coin just as a fucking loose excuse to fucking go and visit some of the cafes there. And they were talking about, oh, this strain here, this is quite mellow, but this strain here, I think you need a friend with you. You know, things like that.
That's
Oh, I
mainly
had a mouthful of
bullshit.
coffee for that, and I managed to hold it in.
But okay, that is one law Oregon passed. Another is for the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. They have legalized the active chemical in magic mushrooms
Yes.
under supervision to be administered. I heard that ecstasy has a similar use. That wasn't legalized. Well, I guess it was legalized, right? That falls under the all drugs category. But what do you guys think about legalizing mushrooms?
Yes, because it has been put forward by actual doctors who have actually done proper testing and fucking shit like that, and well, they claim it actually is effective, and if it does fucking help, well, okay. Like, I'm not completely against weed and shit. I absolutely recognise the fact that fucking smoking a bowl while you got cancer does a hell of a lot better than fucking a Schedule 8 narcotic like fucking endone or something like that, you hillbilly heroin. Fucking, so there are fucking valid uses for it, but you watch every cunt will have fucking PTSD from now on just so they can trip balls on mushrooms.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is it's one of the things I really despise about the marijuana enthusiasts movement, the culture that's built up around it. I really hate those people, to be honest, because they're stupid. Marijuana will cure the common cold. I've heard that one. You know, they make all these claims about marijuana as if it's fucking ambrosia, the food of the gods. You know, and bullshit. Yeah, it's got its medical uses, but it's not going to cure everything. It's not like NyQuil where you break your arm, take a shot of NyQuil, and wake up with a fused bone. For fuck's sake. NyQuil's great, by the way.
It's a plant, dude. It grows from nature, man.
Oh, yeah,
so does opium poppies and fucking coca plants.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing is they never argue that, and mind you, this is not all marijuana users I'm talking about. I'm talking the marijuana cultural elite, I guess. The people who think it's a fucking way of life. They're so stupid in their arguments. They always do that too. You're right. For smoking a plant. Big fucking, what? They outlaw certain kinds of paper too. Yeah, it's hemp, whatever. And I think that's something that should be reversed.
Well, that was the timber industry.
Aspirin. Aspirin is the active ingredient is salicylic acid, which comes from plants. Okay, a lot of shit comes from plants. Quit saying it's just a plant. Get over it, man. How about you formulate a logical constitution-based argument, like show me in the Constitution where it says I cannot ingest what I want to ingest. Show me where the government has the authority to determine what I may or may not ingest. Oh, general welfare clause? Well, I would argue that the general welfare clause only implies that the government should maintain a system that allows people to take care of themselves. That does not automatically grant the government authority to tell you how you must do so. So come on, make a good constitutional argument at me. Use the founding documents this country was based upon and solidify your argument. Stop telling me shit like, well, the Constitution was written on hemp. Well, no, technically a draft of it was, but big fucking deal. That doesn't mean that marijuana is going to cure blindness, you fuck. I'm sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there.
Yeah, Timmer says tobacco is a plant. Well, yeah, but that's not really my argument. My argument is that fucking the cancers that I'm going to get are probably from all the fucking smoke that I ate in the fire brigades and the asbestos and fucking shit between the army and the fire services. And even the camouflage face paint we used that for a few years before they said, oh, by the way, don't put it near your eyes, it's carcinogenic. Oh, thanks for that. Now you fucking tell me. So if they're not going to fucking treat me for all of those, then fuck you, I refuse to quit smoking.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so Redbeard brought up our country dealing with social injustice. I happen to believe that the social injustice that BLM is protesting is the myth of social injustice, because we have righted our ways. We are no longer the country of Jim Crow. We no longer have segregation unless you want to institute it. California, looking at you.
Yeah.
Repeal the Civil Rights Act. Okay, that sounds like a great idea, said the Southern Democrats back in the 40s.
I want to say two things there. One, going back to the marijuana thing. It's not the marijuana I have an issue with. My issue really comes because of bad arguments. Just a bad argument really pisses me off. Unfortunately, a lot of the marijuana people use them. I have no problem with marijuana. Now, when it comes to what Redbeard said about up there with social justice or social injustice, I got news for everyone. Justice modified is justice denied. Social justice, economic justice, racial justice. These are all just excuses used to take from one and give to another. If you want justice, fight for justice. That's a good thing. But to fight for a specific kind of justice for a specific kind of group, that's only going to harm someone else. Now, to go back to bad arguments and how this relates, look at in America when they had that big push to legalize gay marriage. My problem there was that they wanted to legalize gay marriage. It wasn't that, because I believe gay people should be able to get married. I absolutely believe that. Why? Because it's a contract between consenting adults. I'm on board with that. Absolutely. But when you refer to it as gay rights or gay marriage, well, then you're going down a path that's going to deny someone else rights and someone else their opportunity to live their best life by their own choices.
One of the biggest arguments that they had when they went to legalise gay marriage out here, that they had a referendum that no one sent me a ballot paper for, because they probably knew the answer, was partially because of the family law courts, right? The family law courts are fucking too busy fucking trying to get through the backlog of fucking bullshit between normal fucking people as it is. And I've hung around gay people enough to realise that fucking women fucking hate each other and they need a few years to figure that fucking shit out. And if you've got some poor fucking adopted kid involved in that, well, then that just makes things worse. Yes. But part of their argument was that they didn't have the same death rights as a male and female and stuff like that. But there is still a thing called a will, and if the fucker dies on you and didn't leave you anything, that should just go to show how much he really fucking cared about you in the first place, and make your peace with that.
I do not believe it is the government's job to regulate marriage. I believe that once again, Mitch, I think you were right. That's a personal contract.
Well, yeah, exactly. My position has always been that there's nothing in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights that grants the government authority to interfere in any sort of a contractual agreement between consenting adults. By that standard, also, polygamy laws are kind of illegal.
Well, in most places, de facto relationships and after a certain period of time are basically seen as the same as an actual marriage. So, my argument is you didn't need to get married. And once you do fucking find out you hate each other, you can just fuck off and part ways. You don't have to go and take up everybody else's time and shit to make it official.
Right. I mean, honestly, the only place I can see the government getting involved in the marriage contract is when the two parties decide to dissolve that contract and cannot come to a mutual agreement on the separation of properties, goods, monies, and that stuff. When there's a dispute, I can see the government offering to come in as a neutral third party, but it doesn't have to be government to be a neutral third party either.
Well, that's also. bogged down on gay marriage, to be honest.
Yeah, well, hang on, before you do, buddy, that was another part of the argument too, is that a lot of the people who were screaming for the gay marriage were the fucking poor ass parts of the fucking relationship. These cunts were going out with sugar daddies and shit like that, and I'm just like, so you're already saying that you're going to be a cunt, you want this just so that when you do leave, you want to have half his shit too. Fucking...
Well, no, see, Mad Dodge, the gay marriage thing and the marijuana issue go hand in hand because they're using bad arguments to get what they want. And that applies very much the same way that social justice does. Social justice is a bad argument.
Part of it's also too the hypocriticalness of it too, because if George Carlin says it, it must be true. But if I say the exact same fucking thing, nah, fucking not listening. You're full of shit. Fuck off.
Well, see, what they forget about Carlin is that Carlin was a comedian.
Yeah, and Carlin was funnier than you, Farty. Sorry. He made his living with comedy. So that's not even me saying anything bad. I'm just saying Carlin was a great comedian.
Silent Bob turned him into a cocksucker anyway, so, you know.
But, okay. They don't want equality amongst the races. What they want is the revenge South Africa had after apartheid and is having. They want the farm murders. They even were holding a sign in Portland. We didn't want Biden elected. We want revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, they were walking through
fucking... For not being arrested every night?
Yeah, they were walking fucking through people's places going, we're going to have your house. You know, you leave our house and all this kind of shit. And it's like, yeah, right. And you don't know why we think you're a bunch of fucking thug cunts.
Yeah.
So you guys know, I'm guessing Farty probably knows more about it than I do, but the politics in South Africa right now are atrocious.
Oh God, it's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And that's the model they want for here. They want to round us up and kill us.
Wasn't the South African wasn't it Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former Supreme Court Justice, I think once suggested South Africa had a Bill of Rights or a constitution that the United States should model.
Well, you know, this is kind of America's fault, because if you lot had gotten into World War II early and not forced the British to fucking go so broke that they had to fucking dismantle the empire, the British would still be there and fucking, you know, things would have been fine. But no, we got rid of the British and let them rule themselves, and, you know, and just figured out like everybody else they can't.
Well, again, you know, Americans only come together when there's an external threat that threatens everyone. And the Pearl Harbor thing was that inciting incident. It was the catalyst.
Yeah, the surprise attack 3 years into a global war.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my point. Is apparently America needed an excuse, is what I'm getting at.
Well, that's my point at the moment. Fucking shit's already fucking kicking off, man. And, like, yeah, I can see you's waiting another 3 bloody years.
And by that time, Harris will be president.
Yeah, well, once again, I go back to lame duck presidency. But I already beat that dead horse. Sorry, Joe. You're not dead yet. I mean, you might make it after.
Well, and he hasn't been elected president yet either.
He hasn't been sworn in.
Well, no, he hasn't even been elected. The election for president doesn't really take place until December 14th, when the Electoral College vote is due.
Yeah.
Until the popular vote doesn't matter. It's almost doesn't matter so much that it should never be brought up, because it's just a tool to divide. The only way the popular vote matters is in the case of what we call faithful electors, who take the popular vote into serious consideration when the electors cast their vote for president. It's the vote of the Electoral College that matters, not the vote of the people.
And this is all they're doing at the moment, is they're basically trying to fucking force Trump into conceding. And once he concedes, then it's over. But the sheer fact that he's not fucking conceding means that it's just going to keep dragging out.
Yep.
They just want him to give in early.
Well, see, that's the other thing, is the popular vote is the illusion that that your vote for president matters.
Well, no, and the thing also is this: people are getting mad. I unfollowed somebody. The only reason I followed her is she was a Dodger fan, and during the World Series, she was posting a bunch of stuff, and she was kind of hot. So I followed her on Twitter. Whatever, you know, I unfollowed her because she's like, and guess what? Trump is golfing, of course. What do you want him to do? He's golfing. His lawyers are working. This isn't over yet. Let the dude play around the golf while he still can.
And another thing too, just with Trump's taxes and stuff like that, everyone's talking about, oh, he played the game, he knew all the rules and shit, even though Biden wrote the fucking tax code and all this kind of shit. But don't fucking think he doesn't know all the rules with the election, and he's not going to fucking use that to his advantage either, eh?
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's be clear. It's not Biden.
No,
Biden is not able to form those kinds of thoughts. Biden is being managed. It's his managers that are making all those decisions.
It's going to be president by committee. But the real problem here is this. Everybody needs to just get ready. Unless the Supreme Court intervenes and discounts the fraudulent votes, and how can you tell the difference? Because there is no watermark, people. Okay? I don't want to hear that theory. There is no special watermark that labels a real ballot from a fake ballot. There's no way they could have did that in all 50 states without the state, voting committee knowing.
Well, more to the point, it doesn't fucking matter about a watermark if the fucking ballot went missing in the first place.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
was stolen
Like the
and set
naval
on fire.
ballot found in a dumpster. But anyway, Al Gore tried against Bush. It took 38 days, and he failed. Be prepared for President Trump to leave office. If he doesn't, be prepared for civil unrest like you've never seen.
See, it's one thing to say be prepared. It's quite another to tell people how. And I have one suggestion. Save everything. Go through, find all the times Nancy Pelosi said no one is above the law, or any Democrat for that matter. Find all those clips. Find all the shit that they said that will contradict the things that we know they're going to do. And have that shit ready. Have that shit ready to hand out to any social media platform or news agency in some cases. If the stuff you've collected is good enough, be ready for that shit. Because that's the thing that's going to sink them. You have to point out their hypocrisy, and you have to do it all the time. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Both they're one party. Okay, let's stop pretending. They're the cabalocrats. Because they're a fucking cabal. They're working against you. And I can prove it. I can absolutely prove it. And the proof is in a little thing called the presidential. I'm getting the name wrong already. My proof sucks so far, but here it comes. The Commission on Presidential Debates is election interference that is in front of everyone and no one ever really talks about at great length. There's a threshold to get into the presidential debates that the commission has instituted. The commission is run by Democrats and Republicans. Keep that in mind. There's a threshold you have to meet to get into the debates. For the Democrats and Republicans, that threshold is 5%. And I believe it's 5% of polling in certain polls or whatever. For any other party, that threshold is 15%. This is not a federal agency. This is a private organization. And if that's not election interference, when you can't hear the arguments from parties that are not Democrat and Republican, I don't know what is. The Commission on Presidential Debates needs to die in a fire, basically.
So yeah, Tamara, that is exactly another one that fucking is a valid argument, and it's not just in California. They've already fucking said that, like, you know, you can even prove the case just by going on the fucking internet. Some places have got 120%, 130%, 140% voter turnout and fucking registered fucking voters and shit like that. How the fuck do those figures work?
It's magic.
Yeah. Well, and okay, let's run down a few quick points here. All right. Supposedly, Joe Biden got more votes than almost any president in history. Definitely more votes than Obama in his first run for office.
I have a list, Mad
Dog. No, I'm running down a few facts real quick, and then you guys go. President Trump upped the Republican voter outreach to Black Americans by 30%. He upped it with Hispanic Americans by like 40 to 50. Maybe that was Cuban Americans and the Florida turnout. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe people are sick of illegal immigration when they sat in line and waited for their green card. Just maybe. Just maybe. Maybe they're sick of the cartels. Maybe they're sick of human trafficking. Just maybe. The only place where Trump actually lost was white educated men. And that dropped 5% or so, maybe 10%. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. And that is the college education talking, not the common sense part of the brain. The Republican Party is now the party of the working class. The Democrat Party is the party of, I'll give you anything you want, but keep me in power. Go ahead.
Hit it, Farty.
Yep, Tyre said, yeah, I mean, but Joe Biden's so popular, he got dead people to vote for him too. Yeah, people who were born in 1890-something, fucking 1900-something.
Yep.
And he's got 100% of the 100-plus-year-old votes.
Is it my turn yet?
Yep.
I just want to let you know I got this list, and I used it last night on our stream. But this is a list of shenanigans that have gone on with this election. Number one, deceased voters. 2, tossed out ballots. 3, Sharpies handed out to mark ballots. 4, more votes than registered voters. 5, broken water pipes. 6, computer glitches. 7, voting machines down. 8, magic ballots appearing out of nowhere. 9, early calls for states. 10, delayed calls on states. 11, curing ballots. 12, covering up windows at ballot counting stations. 13, rejecting poll watchers. 14, extending deadlines. 15, accepting late ballots. Now, in America, these are facts. These things have happened. These are facts. These are verified. In America, that's a little something that I like to call probable cause. Where are the fucking warrants?
Yeah, exactly.
Issue some goddamn warrants, and maybe the Department of Justice can get out there and do its fucking job properly for once. I mean, the FBI did send 15 agents out to investigate a pole on a NASCAR driver's garage door because it was made of a rope and in the shape of a loop, so they called it a noose, even though a noose is a very specific knot, and it wasn't that kind of a knot. You send 15 agents out for that, but when it comes to investigating voter fraud on this scale with this number of verified, and I didn't even name all the instances, but this is just some stuff that's verified.
Mm.
Where are the warrants? Where are the federal investigators? And you know what? We can't trust the FBI to investigate, a poorly given blowjob at this point, because they have an earned reputation for being just another element of the Democrat Party. So, we have other federal law enforcement agencies. Maybe we send in the Secret Service. Maybe we send in the U.S. Marshal Service. But someone's got to go and do this investigation and make sure that due process is handled properly.
Yeah, fucking the DOJ can't even keep their fucking cameras working in a New York jail when some cunt committed suicide. Air quotes again.
Well, yeah, and Toya says, but there's no such thing as voter fraud. Shake my head. Yeah, and I'm Santa Claus. Wait, $5 super chat from Redbeard. Trump winning states, then the states hold votes off until they get these mysterious 300,000 ballots that are literally all for Biden. Funny enough. Thank you again for the super chat. And yeah, that is ridiculous.
I can answer that with a meme that I saw. It's like Biden basically saying, how do we know how many votes to rig if we don't know how many votes we need to rig by?
Well, no, and Biden came out that night, and it's neck and neck. I don't think any candidate's done this before. Even Trump didn't do this. He comes out and goes, I know we'll win. I'm sure of it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Pretty much. Long story short. Wait, what do you mean you'll win? Okay.
Oh, this shit's been going on for fucking months. Like, all the fucking clips that I've been seeing over the last day or so, like, it's going back, and it's like, it is that part, like, with fucking John F. Kennedy and LBJ at that fucking breakfast just before the assassination, and LBJ's just looking at John F. Kennedy with the death stares like, something's fucking coming to you, cunt, kind of fucking look. And, like, yeah, he's basically like, yep, we're going to win. We know we're going to win because, we're fucking rigging the shit pretty much. He's basically been saying it the last few months.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is, you take what I said about Biden and the jump in President Trump's votes as well. How many people voted in this election? Have we ever had this kind of turnout? I don't believe so.
They expect us to believe that candidate Biden got more votes than candidate Obama. And as much as I dislike Obama and his policies, he was a popular candidate.
Mm. Yeah, I have to concede that.
And somehow Biden, who can't get people's names right, who can't live more than, an hour and a half in the sunshine out of his basement, we're supposed to believe that guy's a popular candidate? Can't fill 6 circles in a fucking campaign rally with 6 people? Come on. The only people showing up were the media, because they're on his side anyway, and and any security. That's it.
Oh shit, there was one rally he went to where all the crowd was fucking Trump supporters screaming 4 more years.
Well, and the thing is, okay, we had one hope. If Biden won, the COVID thing might go away. It might.
Nope, it won't.
My governor came out today and said, warned of a second lockdown. These Democrat governors now all believe they are Augustus Caesar, and we are their personal Roman citizenry. Wave a bag of marijuana in front of Oregonians' faces and throw some crack down the alley, and none of us will notice. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of it. When is enough enough? Now, once again, YouTube, disclaimer, I do not advocate violence of any form. But resistance to tyranny is patriotic.
Yeah, isn't that why you got the Second Amendment? But like another thing though is with Nevada, and like I might be wrong about this, but I've been led to believe that fucking Biden's going to bring in more lockdowns and shit like that. Nevada really loves their money, and they really don't want to be locked down and shit because, well, that'll cost them fucking a fortune with the lack of people coming in with the casinos and shit. So how the fuck did Nevada fucking vote for bloody for Biden?
And Tema asked, but why would we lock down? The cases in Lane County skyrocketed after the fires. The cases in Multnomah County skyrocketed after the fires. You had pretty much refugees, me included. But me and my family went to my mother-in-law's. We had to sleep in a tent. It sucked ass. I hated every second of it. But I had a place to go. I didn't go to the germ breeding grounds that was the emergency shelter. And another thing, I don't think I've complained about this. They put the first evac point in that fire at my kids' school in Blue River. That I lived in Blue River and my house burnt down. So I was supposed to evac from Blue River to Blue River. They had the evacuees go to the school, and then the school got surrounded by fire, and the firefighters had to fight the fire back, and they were completely surrounded. When we drove out through a tunnel of fire. Okay? Rim falling on fire on my fucking car. You know, like us
Fun.
in there, me holding the twins, no car seat because, well, we gotta go. We're about ready to die. And headed down the road through a tunnel of fire. And they had people still at that school when we were driving out. They can't even organize an evac. They think they're going to lock our state down again? Yeah, COVID skyrocketed. You threw everybody together. And homeless people probably filtered in there. It's free. It's a free cot.
Well, more the point is that fucking part of Biden's argument was that Trump killed billions of people and zillions and quadrillions and fucking whatever, you know, by not doing anything. So what's the alternative? Do like what we've done, lock the place down until it fucks off. And good luck trying that shit nowadays.
Well, and the thing is also, I believe the jump is also partially a false jump. I believe it is influenza. We are entering the flu season.
Well, from the beginning, I've been asking the question, do you trust the test? Do you trust who makes the test? Do you trust who reads the test? Do you trust who administers the test? Because if we've learned anything in the last 10 years in this country, it's that everything is politicized. You expect me to believe that something like the CDC or a pharmaceutical company building a test isn't somehow influenced by politics? Bullshit. It's all a scam.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying that the virus isn't real. I'm saying that the reaction to it is a scam.
And what I'm saying is, even if the virus was real, there's no reason to lock down this bad.
No,
okay,
there isn't, because there is no emergency. The number of deaths is what we call statistically insignificant. It's far less than 1% of the total. That's statistically insignificant.
And in the chat, Tema, like Clackamas County took their firefighters off the front line and had them knock on doors, you know, like they're not trained to do. Hang on. What exactly was going on there? Were they knocking on doors to vote or knocking on doors to evacuate people?
Probably to evacuate.
Probably to evacuate, but they didn't do that where I was. One police vehicle pulled in, lights on. And we had seen the glow from the fires, but we had seen that. Remember what? 2 years ago. Go use the bathroom, then, Anna. She's got to tell me every time. Sorry.
They want to make sure you're updated in case there's an emergency.
Yeah, but
real quick. 3 years ago we saw the glow of the fires. They never reached us. So you get into that mode where, okay, I've dealt with wildfires. I've lived up here for 6 years. I've dealt with 4 wildfires. This will be like the rest of them. Well, it wasn't. There was 75-mile-per-hour gusts, and it jumped miles. I've never seen a fire do this.
No, they do it all the time. In fact, your major bushfires can usually spot up to 60 kilometres away, which I think is 30-something mile, something like that. That is, in fact, normal. You probably weren't being called to evacuate because, well, they probably knew that the wind and all that kind of shit was going to take it past you. But, like, what we had this year, a lot of property protection and shit was just not done, and a lot of people were just told to just fucking leave don't even try and fight it because, like they were pretty bad this year. And just because we're wearing fire retardant clothing and stuff like that doesn't make us fucking Superman. We can die like the rest of us.
Yep.
And like there is a point where there is absolutely nothing you are going to do to stop it. Even tried and true tactics like fucking like running air tankers in to knock it down to a level where you can attack it. There is just some times where you can't get the air tankers in. Smoke will obscure you. This is what we had in Canberra. That's why we lost 500 houses in the first 2 days there, is because there was so much smoke that no one could see where the fire front was. Then there's issues with updrafts and downdrafts. Sometimes it is just not viable to run an airplane in there, and this is partially how we got 3 of your guys killed with an air tanker crashing into a hill. Was that fucking they went through fucking a microburst as they went through the fire. They thought they had a couple of more feet than what they actually did, and there was a rise up the other end of the smoke. And as they came out of the smoke, oh fuck, there's a hill.
Yep.
Well,
that's the thing.
Farty, I've never leveled any blame to the responders, to the firefighters. I level my blame at the Bureau of Land Management, the other BLM.
Yeah. Yes, that is a huge fucking problem, and every cunt fucking says the fires that we had out here was global fucking warming or anything like that are fucking fuckwits. Because, like, just take fucking Kangaroo Island for example. That's a perfect example. These dumb cunts last year were too busy fucking trying to fucking stop us from bloody doing hazard reductions, which is a low intensity, slow moving fire that's designed to just take out the undergrowth, which is your major problem. And fucking let the animals run away, but they're saying, oh, I'm going to save the animals in the trees. 75% of the fucking island got incinerated because we couldn't do the hazard reduction, and like 90% of the animals were killed because they couldn't run away from the fast-moving fire. And that was all over the fucking state. Like, when we want to do hazard reductions, it's a fairly simple process. We'll go out, we'll actually, like back in my day, we used to walk the actual perimeter of where we were going to go with the GPS, marking out waypoints and shit. Mark it out on a map, prepare a report. We'd check the fuel loading, which is an easy task. It's a 1 meter by 1 meter square. You just plonk it on a random spot on the ground, and then you take everything out of that square, you weigh it, and you calculate that weight over a hectare, and that's your tonnage per hectare. You put that all out into a report. You get the crews ready. You organise the equipment that you'll need. Do you need air support? Do you need fucking police to lock off roads? Are you going to need to keep the road closed afterwards to get rid of widow makers and things like that? Fucking that'll all be done, and then it goes off for an environmental mitigation process, which basically is some fuckstick greenie who's never been out in the bush before but loves the trees and the animals and stuff, and they'll just go, no, pollution, save the trees, and they'll fucking knock it back a couple of months. So then we've got to go through the whole fucking process again, and if it hasn't bloody rained in the meantime, it'll probably get knocked back again.
Yep.
So, and this was allowed to happen for a solid fucking decade. And we had the perfect opportunity in the last 10 years to do something about it, because we've been in a drought for 10 years. We had dry winters, which meant we could have burnt any fucking time we wanted. We could have incinerated this fucking state 6 or 7 fucking times over in that space of 10 bloody years. But no, weren't allowed to do it. Fuel loading was allowed to build up. And then we had one of the worst fucking summers that we've had in a good long while. And, well, shit. You ain't fucking doing shit about it then.
Yeah, no kidding. And to make it worse, in America, plenty of those fires were actually acts of arson.
Yes, they were.
And seemingly to push the global warming agenda.
Well, see, like in 2001 and 2002, I'd put it to you that we actually did have a terrorist attack, because if you'd ever seen people trying to leave their possessions and houses behind and stuff like that while a fire is encroaching on them, the look of fucking fear and terror on their face is just, unbelievable. And It makes you feel fucking helpless. Like, there was one fire, I was in a bulk water carrier going into a fairly urban area. Oh, fuck, can't remember where it was. But anyway, we're coming down the street. People are running back up the street looking at me like fucking Superman, save my shit. And I'm like, volume pump, not a pressure pump. We really can't do much, but yeah, we'll try. Can't make any guarantees.
Right.
All right, so I popped up a map. Okay? This is the map of federally owned land in the United States. Do you see a discrepancy between the East and the West? I do. Do you see a reason why the wildfires are more active in the West? What is the undeveloped areas?
I wonder.
No, and Nevada. How can we even call Nevada a state? Seriously. It's all purple. It's all owned by federal land.
Federal land usually means reserves, though, like bushland and shit. But that's
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yeah,
that's
but
Nevada, though. It's famous for being a desert, isn't it?
Well, Nevada there's also Area 51. There's also a lot of nuclear testing was done in Nevada. So I bet
Yucca proving grounds
is still contaminated and whatnot. Because
Well,
you
here's
can't have
the
anything
thing.
nice.
What I'm saying is not eliminate this, but the Cascades, I'd partial it out, sell it. I would develop it. I would have mountain cities, resort cities, new ski lodges. There's places in Oregon where you can stay in a tree house and it has electricity and Wi-Fi and inside plumbing, and it's a freaking village of tree houses. It looks like a wood elf city. I develop places like that. I would build. Why? Because you can build, keep the nature, and control the fires. Look in Alaska. That used to be more solid. You know why it's not? Homesteading.
Yep.
Just another thing that Tamara has mentioned. Just another thing that Tamara mentioned. Resources were diverted from firefighting the wildfires due to huge amounts of the crazies in the west, on the west coast, has acquired over 15 years. Well, that's partially true. Another thing that you guys don't have that we actually do is a nationally organised volunteer fire service. Because like I mentioned before with the whole junkie rant, was that like a lot of your volunteer fire services in rural areas where a lot of these bushfires will happen, extremely underfunded. They have to usually get their own funding by donations and things like that. A lot of their equipment is 30, 40, sometimes 50 fucking years old. They're repurposing really fucking used up military equipment and trying to build shit up like what we were doing 30 something years ago. Like fucking up in Warringah Pitwater, where I was my second brigade, there was Belrose, and they're famous for having their old Chevy Blitz, like a World War II fucking truck that they've built up as a fucking fire truck. That was their first fire truck. They've still got it. It's still a registered fire vehicle. It's never going to go anywhere because it'll take them a month to get anywhere, but it's still a registered fire vehicle. But like,
it's funny. It's a World War II vintage, because the image in my head was a fucking Korean War vintage Jeep, and somebody's disused garden hose.
Well, that's what we used to do back in the fucking day. And you'll find that in some cases, yes, there are vehicles in some of these brigades that are exactly that. And we've got, with the national funding and stuff like that, we've got standardised water tankers. Like, the Category 1 bushfire tanker, heavy tanker, is in every fucking station. We've got 70,000 members and probably about 400 or 500 stations around the state. We're all organised. We've got one command and control system and all this kind of stuff. We have local area emergency assistance and things like that. We've got state tactical area response groups, fucking raft teams and all sorts of shit. And we just bought a bunch of fucking aircraft as well that we own outright instead of hiring stuff from America. And that's what you guys also need to do. And it's not going to be fucking easy because of all the way your local counties and shit work, and your big cities won't fucking donate, used up, secondhand vehicles from there, which could still last these brigades another 10 or 15 years or so.
Right.
I do implore anybody who's in a rural area that is a part of a brigade or has an affiliation, come and see the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. We will be happy to help with some advice. We probably won't be able to donate vehicles, but fucking, if you want to know how we can do it, fucking just come and see us and we might be able to help you. But that's what you guys also need too.
Yeah, and Undead Ramen in Ewok Village. Yeah, this is for you. This is what I'm talking about. This is out by Portland, Oregon. This is a treehouse hotel and resort. And you could do stuff like this and maintain the property around it and the beauty of the landscape. I don't know why people don't think like this. I mean, wouldn't you want to stay here?
No.
Why not?
I might want to stay there. I might want to stay there like overnight, but to own and maintain it, fuck no. Trees continue to grow.
They fall down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens in a strong wind? You lose your entire house.
Yeah, there's that is, it's nice, it's neat, it's cool. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun, but it's also a huge risk.
That is true, but I mean,
I used to think, when speaking of firefighting, I used to think, like, why is it in coastal areas you just don't pump seawater to fight a fire? And the reason is because of the fucking salt. It'll kill the land.
Oh, well, it can be done. Like, because a lot of air tankers and stuff like that really don't care where they get their water from. There does become a problem if you are pumping it through the vehicles, that you'll salt up and corrode the interiors of the pumps and all that. But that's of course if you don't fucking flush the thing out before you do it, which is a standard practice we do out here. We also have a thing that, like, we can fucking come onto your property and empty out your pool if we want to, but there is a caveat. We've got to go and fill it up later on when the emergency's finished. But yeah, you can still do, like, pumping seawater onto the fire. It's just that a lot of the times the seawater is a fair distance away from the bush that you're using, and it's like
there's that too. I mean, obviously, but the salt factor is a huge thing. The salt will kill plants. You might have put the fire out, but there's the reason. I'll start that over. The phrase "salting the earth" exists for a reason. I'm not saying it's an absolute. I'm saying it's a risk. And it's a risk you may not want to take.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, unless you have to. I mean, if you have to, fuck, you're screwed. You have to do it.
Well, no, they had the Blue River Reservoir to pull from. They had the Cougar Reservoir to pull from. There's all sorts of reservoirs. There's the Mackenzie River up there where I was at. They could have pulled from all that. But we're starting to wind down here. Mitch, tell them about your channel and what you guys do.
Oh, well, we actually have 2 channels that we operate on through the week. I've got links ready even. The first one is our YouTube channel, which it is not letting me. God damn you. There we go. Copy. Put it in the chat. This is our YouTube channel where we do politics, current events. Sometimes we veer into fucking up the thing I was trying to do. There we go. Sometimes we veer into entertainment too. We do that on Wednesdays and Fridays. On Monday nights, you can find us at our Twitch channel. Copy. There we go. Where we do our Twitch watch parties on Monday nights. This Monday, we'll be finishing up a series called The Thick of It, featuring Peter Capaldi and his brutally poetic use of profanity.
I thought that was about someone with a lisp that was just fed up.
No, The Thick of It is a fucking brilliant comedy politics show. It's the profanity and sexual imagery is just so vicious. It's hilarious. And after this Monday, when we finish that up, we're going to go back to watching movies for a while, I think, on Monday nights. So you're free to come. We do running commentary. Unless we get sucked into the story, then we're just sitting there quiet watching the damn movie. But we do running commentary. If it's a bad movie, the commentary is going to be much funnier. Sometimes we do that on purpose. We pick a bad movie. But that's all I got for now.
All right. And Barty, you were gone there for a while due to personal stuff. Are you going to go back to debunking some conspiracies on your channel, or are you going to be pretty much sticking around over here on the brand?
More of these, more or less. Shit on my channel is going to be pretty sporadic. Fucking, if I even bother with it and all this kind of stuff. Exiled Opinions, we might be doing something today. Frank is currently moving at the moment, so he's got no internet. But if he does decide to find a bandwidth somewhere along the line, we might be doing something. So stay tuned for that. And hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your little boys, because Biden's groping everybody out there.
Goodies.
And you guys, I'm actually a little shocked at all the super chats tonight. Thank everybody. Thank you all again. I really appreciate it. And I didn't get my DS9 review out this week. I thought Jez from Digital Pollution was busy with Guy Fawkes night. And I guess there was a glitch on Discord. I didn't see him active. And he was waiting on me. And I was waiting on him. So it didn't work out. But Thursday, we'll be coming out with our review on Emissary. And it better be in depth, because we're both going to watch it a fourth time. And so it should be a really in-depth review. Good night. Good luck. And hey, it wasn't all bad. It really wasn't. We'll get through a Biden presidency if we have to. And it's not even official yet. Even though Biden is about to come out live and say it's official,
Smell
and
my finger.
probably call President Trump a crybaby and a sore loser, just ignore him. I'm not even going to watch it. Dude puts me to sleep anyway. I got shit to do tonight.
Just like the beginning of a German porno film. You ain't seen shit yet.
Hide the salami.
On that note, we're out of here.